All right, diving right in. Today we're taking a close look at the newest features coming to Intune, specifically for Windows devices.
Yeah, exactly. Focusing on what Microsoft is calling the week of March 17th, 2025 updates.
So within the Intune suite, of course,
Yep.
these updates are going to give you even better control over all those Windows endpoints.
For sure.
So in this deep dive, we'll cut to the chase, quickly getting you up to speed on what's important. We'll cover the improvements to Endpoint Privilege Management, really talking about tightening up security and making things easier to control.
Right.
And then we'll explore this fascinating new way to query your devices, like actually using Copilot.
Oh, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, so let's jump in. Let's talk about Endpoint Privilege Management first.
Okay, sounds good. EPM, Endpoint Privilege Manager.
Yeah.
You know, for anyone managing devices with Intune, it's probably already a pretty important tool for you. It's really all about managing those user rights, making sure people have the access they need without, giving them the keys to the kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, at the end of the day, that's good security, right?
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing here, the headline, is about EPM expanding its reach, right? We want to make sure that we can manage all of the devices. Mm-hmm. And the key update that's coming out that mid-March week of 2025 is that EPM is going to support Windows devices that are running on ARM 64-bit architecture.
Yeah. Which is a big deal.
It is a big deal.
Because, for people who are managing these newer devices, this means that you can now start applying all of those same great security policies on these newer, the really sleek, the power-efficient ARM-based Windows devices.
Yeah.
So it's a huge win for just having that consistent security across the board.
And that consistent approach, right?
Yeah.
Because before, EPM was really only compatible with traditional 64-bit operating system. So now these ARM processors, which, like you were saying, are increasingly common in modern laptops and tablets, they offer such a great balance of performance and battery life, right?
Yeah.
Now they're fully manageable with EPM.
Yeah, for sure.
And this really is addressing a growing segment of the devices that are out there. So why does this matter? Why should you care? Well, we're seeing more and more of these ARM-powered devices, and this update ensures that a broader range of those devices that you might be managing can now benefit from all those EPM capabilities.
Yeah.
It means ensuring consistent security across your entire Windows environment.
It makes things so much easier. You don't need to have two separate strategies, right? Yeah. Like one for this set of devices, another for this set of devices, just based on their processor. So you can manage privilege elevation the same way across the board. It's just way more efficient, right?
Unified, efficient approach to security.
Yeah.
Love it. And just to really hit this home, the quote from the documentation is, Endpoint Protection Manager, EPM, now supports managing file elevations on devices that run on ARM 64-bit architecture.
It's pretty clear, straightforward, and I think it's, super significant.
Yeah. So essentially, as hardware changes, Intune is adapting, and it's ensuring that we have the tools to maintain that really strong security across all these different devices.
Yep. No matter what comes out, we got you covered.
All right, so let's shift gears a little bit. Let's talk about something that sounds like it could really change how we work with Intune data. The Copilot Assistant for Device Query. This sounds like a big one.
It is. It's super exciting. This is Microsoft taking AI, right?
Yep.
All the power of AI and just putting it right into the Intune Admin Center.
Oh, wow.
It's a brand new feature called Query with Copilot.
Query with Copilot. So break that down for me. What does it actually let us do?
So think of it this way. What if you could just, in plain English, just ask your Intune environment, show me all the devices that have low disk space, and it would just know what to do, right?
Okay.
So that's the power that Copilot brings.
So it's understanding.
Yeah. It lets administrators ask questions about their devices just using natural language, however you would say it, and normally.
Right. Wow.
And then behind the scenes, Copilot takes that question and turns it into KQL.
Okay, so KQL, for those who aren't familiar, that's Kusto Query Language.
Right. It's Intune's super powerful data retrieval language.
So what you're saying is we don't have to be KQL experts to get this information.
Exactly. I don't know about you, but I've spent hours trying to craft the perfect KQL query.
Oh, yeah.
Just to get the information I need. And this just removes all of that, know?
That is huge.
It's a game changer. It's you can think of it as KQL is the language that Intune data speaks.
Okay.
You don't have to learn that language. Copilot's like your translator, right?
I love that analogy.
You can speak normally, and Copilot will take that and turn it into a perfect KQL query for you.
So it lowers that barrier of entry to get all this rich device information that we need.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So much easier to get those insights.
So how do we get to this Copilot? Where is it?
Okay, so you'll find it in a couple of key spots in the Intune Admin Center.
Yeah.
Like, if you're trying to query a bunch of devices at once, like you want to get a broad overview,
Yeah.
you go to Devices, then Device Query, and boom, you'll see the Query with Copilot option right there.
Okay.
But here's the cool part. You can also use it when you're just looking at a single device.
Oh, wow.
So you go into an individual devices page, and under Device Query, you'll see Query with Copilot there too.
That's amazing.
Yeah, right.
It's like two ways to get to it. So if you're zeroing in on one machine or you want to look across everything.
Exactly. So like sometimes you need that 30,000-foot view. Other times you're really digging into the details.
So walk me through this. I'm looking at a device. I want to know something. I open up Copilot. What happens next?
So you just type your question, like how you would normally ask it, right?
Okay.
But here's the thing. It can only work with the data that the Intune device query can actually get to, right? So if the info's there, Copilot will create a KQL query that can get you the answer.
Okay, and then we just hit run and we get the answer.
Pretty much. But you actually have a few options after Copilot generates that query. First one is add to editor. So if you click that, you can actually see the KQL code that Copilot made for you.
Oh, cool.
You can actually change it too if you want, like maybe make the search a little more specific.
Yeah.
Or you can just use it as a way to learn some KQL, right?
Yeah, that's great.
Like, oh, that's how they phrase that. So that's option one.
Cool. All right, what's option two?
Option two is like the express lane. It's add and run. That's the one where you're like, just give me the answer,
Right.
It takes the KQL that Copilot made, puts it right into the query editor, and runs it automatically.
Boom, there it is.
Yeah, super fast. And then the third option, this one's super cool, especially if you want to learn more about how this all works.
Oh, yeah.
It's how is this query generated?
I like that.
Yeah. If you click that, Copilot basically breaks it down for you step by step.
Oh, well.
Like, okay, you asked this question, so I took these words and I turned them into this KQL code,
Wow, so it's teaching us how to do it ourselves, too.
Yeah. So you're not just getting the answer, you're also learning how to ask the right questions in the future.
I love that. Okay, give me some examples. Let's say for a single device, what kind of questions could we ask Copilot?
Oh, the possibilities are pretty much endless. Like something basic, right? You could ask, is Defender antivirus running on this device?
Okay.
Or let's say you're trying to troubleshoot a problem. You could be like, show me the last 5 times an app crashed on this device.
Okay.
If you're worried about performance, you could ask, what are the top 10 things using up the most memory on this device?
Yeah.
And for security, you could even ask, show me any certificates that have expired on this device.
Okay.
Or even something super specific like, show me the last 20 files created in, like, this super specific folder, like see Windows temp.
Wow, that's very granular.
Yeah. And you can even ask about the hardware itself, right? Like, does this device have TPM 2.0?
Right.
Or you could get like really detailed info about drivers, like show me all the drivers, but organize them by who made them.
So those are just for a single device. What about if we want to look across all the devices, the big picture? What can we ask then?
Oh, that's where you can get some crazy insights, right? Like for your overall health, for compliance,
Right.
Thinking about security, you could ask, which of my devices aren't encrypted?
Oh, yeah.
If you want to know what operating systems are out there, you could ask, show me all the devices that are running Windows 11.
Okay.
Or if you're keeping track of updates, you could ask which devices have this specific hotfix installed.
Right.
Or even better, which devices haven't gotten a security patch in the last 30 days.
Yeah, that's a crucial one. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So what other kinds of multi-device queries can we run through this?
You can also use it for, like, inventory, right?
Yeah.
Or just to organize things. Like you could ask, show me all the devices across my entire organization that have TPM 2.0 enabled. Yeah. Or even something as simple as just list all of my devices by who made them.
These are great examples. I'm really seeing how much time this could save,
Yeah.
And it makes it so much easier for anyone to get this device information. You don't have to be an expert anymore.
For sure. It's so much more accessible.
And the documentation actually has some really good quotes about this whole feature.
Oh, definitely.
So one of them is, you can now use Copilot to generate a KQL query to help you get data from across multiple devices in Intune. So it's very clearly stating that you can do this across multiple devices.
Yeah, that's huge. Like, it's not just for one device.
And then breaking it down a little bit further, it says, when the Copilot window opens, enter your question about the device.
Right, just type it in.
If device query supports the properties needed to answer the question, Copilot will generate a KQL query that you can use to get the data that you require. So again, emphasizing that we can use natural language.
Yeah, just ask it like you're talking to a person.
And then it lists out the options, which we talked about. So it says, to use the query that Copilot generates, select Add to Editor to add it to the query editor in Device Query.
So you can see it, you can edit it,
Or select Add and Run to add it to the editor and automatically run it. So there's the fast track.
Yep, no messing around.
And then the one I really like, select how is this query generated, to see an explanation generated by Copilot for how it created a query in response to your request. That's such a good learning tool.
Oh, absolutely. That's how you'll go from beginner to expert in no time.
So to kind of wrap up this Copilot discussion, what are your big takeaways? What do you think the impact of this is going to be?
I think it's going to be huge. I really do. Admins can now get the data they need without having to become KQL masters.
Yeah.
Like, it really opens up the power of Intune to so many more people. And when it's easier to get information, it means you can manage devices better, right? Oh. You can spot problems faster. You just have a better understanding of everything that's going on with your Windows devices.
Yeah. So bigger picture, both of these updates, the expanded EPM support and this new Copilot, it's really changing how we manage Windows devices with Intune.
Yeah, for sure.
It's addressing both security and also just making our lives easier, making us more efficient, right?
Absolutely. So you've got broader coverage with EPM, more devices can be secured.
Right.
And then with Copilot, you've got this intuitive, easy way to get all the information you need. Like, no matter what your skill level is, you can use it.
So for you listening, this means more efficient, more comprehensive, smarter management of your Windows devices, all within the Intune suite?
Exactly. It's all about working smarter, not harder.
Absolutely. And as we wrap up, a final thought to consider. With AI now helping us generate these complex queries, do you think that natural language is going to be the future of how we interact with our IT management tools?
That's a great question to think about. I mean, this could be a big shift, We might be moving away from all these complicated commands and codes and just talking to our computers like we talk to each other.
That's a fascinating thought. And for those who want to dive even deeper into these updates, check out the What's New in Intune documentation for that week of March 17th, 2025. It has all the details, and you can start thinking about how you might use that Query with Copilot feature yourself.
Yeah, play around with it, see what it can do.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. It's been a great conversation.
Yeah, it really has. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. See you next time.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.